Hi everybody, Shipmate Frank here with an important lesson for you. I've been on Facebook a lot lately, and I gotta tell you, it's full of BS. These people trying to convince me of the most incredible BS. And you know something? I don't argue with it. I let it go right by because I learned something important in the Navy about BS. What I learned was, don't feed the BS. Let it die of boredom on its own, and then you can just dismiss it. I learned it, in fact, right about this time of year in 1980 during the School of Music Army-Navy game. The Army-Navy game was coming up. I was the junior sailor on the staff. I was an E5. I was nobody. So the Master Chief Petty Officer to the command, Jack Dye, comes up to me and said, "Mullen, Army-Navy games coming up. Well, you're on the team." And I said, "Master Chief, I hate football. I don't play football. I don't even understand football." The Master Chief said, "Good, you're the announcer." And I was. People in the Navy, they knew how to handle me. Good leaders know how to put people in the right position. So we had the Army-Navy game, and I was the announcer. Look, he threw the ball. Oh, and the guy, he caught it. Oh, but they knocked him down. What a bummer. Oh, or maybe that's a good thing. What do I know? Anyway, we had the Army-Navy game. The Navy had been on a streak for a few years, and we won again. I think the score was probably about 21-14. Those sound like football scores. And when it was over, a lot of people on the staff went out to the brass bell, to kind of celebrate. Even some of the Army folks went out. So we're out there drinking beer. And I'm sitting at the table with the Master Chief and the commanding officer, Lieutenant Commander Ron Van Hoos. I'm pretty impressed because I'm the junior guy, and I'm sitting at the table with the Master Chief and the commanding officer. Pretty cool for Joe Nobody, who I was. Anyway, the CO and the Master Chief, they're shooting the breeze about the old days back in Unit Band 2. Now, Jack, what was the name of that cymbal player that we had? Buchendorfer? No, Skipper, you're talking about the clarinet player, Bachschmeyer. You know, it's just this BS. It's just this sea stars are going on. And I'm just enjoying it being cool. But from this tape, these Army guys are sitting at this table across the way, and one of them is getting red in the face. He's just getting redder, and they're shooting the breeze. And finally, he comes walking up to the table that we're sitting at, and he stands right in front of the commanding officer and puts his hands down on the table and says, "We should have won that game." And I was like, what is this? We're all looking. This guy said, "I don't know where you got those referees, but they were blind. We should have won that game." And this is getting kind of, but this guy keeps going. And he's saying, "You know, Ron, I'm an athlete." Now he's calling this is an E6, Spec 6. He's calling the commanding officer by his first name. Ron, those umpires were blind. The field was, those umpires, they missed all the Navy offsides that are going on. And I'm getting kind of concerned here because this is, as we say in the Navy, unsat. This is just unsat. And I can't figure out, am I supposed to be the guy who gets rid of this fella and calms the situation down? Or is it the Master Chief of the command who's supposed to do this? So I glance over at the Master Chief, to kind of signal to him, should I take care of this? And Master Chief Dye, he just gives me he waves it off and let it go. We interrupt this sea story for an important observation. This is a training observation. Up to this point, you will note the commanding officer has just been letting it all wash by. He hasn't been feeding the flames. He hasn't said things like, your commanding officer appointed the referees. I allowed him to do this as a courtesy. He didn't say things like this. He didn't say, this is no way to address your commanding officer. He just was letting it roll by. And it did. It just rolled by. We now return to our sea story. So this Spec 6, finally, he's practically in the commanding officer's face, and he says, you know, Ron, we played better. We have a better team. You know something, Ron? We won that game. Oh, holy smokes. This is BS Deluxe. Finally, the commanding officer speaks. He says, I think you've got me confused with somebody else. My name is not Ron. My name is Lieutenant Commander. Although, you might call me Commander. Now, in the second place, would you do me a favor and remind me what the score was? The guy says, 21-14, but I'm telling you, Ron. He says, no, that's okay. That's all right. I just want to clarify. I think you are implying Navy 21, Army 14. Have I got that? And the guy says, well, yes, but you can't. And the skipper says, no, that's fine. Thank you for clarifying that. You're dismissed. So, Jack, I think the guy that you're talking about was the clarinet player, Rothmeyer. He was the one